Hey, how you guys doing? So we're going to go over the penultimate episode of Season 3 for Love Live Superstar. This one is episode 11. The episode is actually called Superstar. You'll see why it's called that, but I guess it's a nice homage to the fact that the series itself is called Love Live Superstar. Woo! But also the fact that, there are 11 members in Liella, and of course they picked episode 11 to name that, so, you know what, all that stuff is pretty cool and makes a lot of sense. But of course, in the last episode, we have Kinoko become the student council president, and we had the song and the semifinals, so now we have the finals for Love Live. So now we have to see what happens after that. So of course, if you want to watch the episode in full, the main legal source is Crunchyroll, you can go watch it there. I have a link in the description. Without further ado, let's jump into the episode. So the last episode, you already saw that they won and are going to the finals. So of course, a lot of people are really hyped, especially a bunch of the girls at the school. They're all hyping them for the finals. We get to see Kanon after that run. She has to talk with Vienna. Vienna's like, my sister's on the phone. She needs to talk to Kanon. And basically, he's like, you're going to Vienna right now. So Kanon's like, shoot, alright, I guess I gotta go pack. So for the rest of the girls, we have Cuckoo coming to her wife. And, I made a joke that she was going to hand her a ring. But it looks like it's just a hand warmer. So she hands that to Tsume, which, it's cold out. So I guess it shows that Cuckoo cares. And all that stuff. But the rest of the girls, minus a few, do show up at the shrine that Tsuna works. You're wondering where the other girls are. Well, the Onitsuka sisters are a little further away, so they're probably at their own local shrine doing a prayer to the shrine. And for Kinoko, you're wondering where she is. She's in Hokkaido, probably with her family, all that. I don't know, she's petting this goat or whatever this is. Anyways, all the girls, they basically do a prayer at the shrine. But they're like, wait, shouldn't Kanon be here? Well, no, in fact, she is in Vienna. So the girl's like, oh, shoot. So we actually jump to Vienna. So here we are. We get to see a nice little scene of Vienna. This, of course, is where Kanon's been wanting to go for a long time. But I just think it's really cool that we get another look at another place in Love Live. I always like when Love Live does this. We have Shanghai, and now we get a little look at Vienna. So we get to see some of the streets. I don't really know what's here, beyond like a bunch of castles and all that. But Kanon's like, what's going on here? There's no Japanese anywhere. I am confused, and I'm really lost. So she panics. But eventually she gets her hotel, and she's like, I am so lost here. But then she hears a knock on her door in the hotel, and who could this be? Well, if you don't know who this is, you could realize she looks a lot like Vienna, and there's a good reason. That's because that is the older sister. So we have seen some scenes of her, as when we saw like the website, this is her older sister. So we could actually see her in person, and we can even see what she sounds like. So Kanon freaks out and panics like, oh shoot, I need to go introduce myself and try to be nice and formal. But apparently, she actually knows Japanese, so of course, why wouldn't she know Japanese? But anyways, the rest of the girls, if you're wondering what they're doing, is they're also learning about their futures. Chisato got the mail, and as we know, she did an application to see if she got in for a dance audition. For Cuckoo, she is discussing to see if her family's going to come down for Love Live, which they are. But you also get to see inside in her house or apartment, you get to see that there's a bunch of books talking about universities like Beijing University, so she might be something like that. Soon as she gets a little almost an audition to try to get recruited for an agency. However, Suna rejects her, saying that she already have multiple competing offers. But that woman's like, wait, isn't it the child actress from before? As for Ren, well, she is stunning. Of course, we know for her future she wants to go ahead and become that person who takes over for the headmistress to lead her school just like her mother did before. So that's all we're really going to see. She's studying, she wants to get into university, and eventually take her role. As for the second years, of course, they're not worrying about the future yet, but they are focusing on the site, and they're looking at a bunch of other groups, and like, oh my god, they're so amazing. One of them's like construction worker style. But anyways, they're focusing on the fact that they need to basically be the next leaders for the group, and they're trying to figure out what are we going to do for the finals, because they want to be the ones to be responsible for making that song. So then we have the first years. Tamari comes to Wien, who's busy cleaning, and she mentions that she heard that Wien wants to go back to Vienna after this competition, but instead she wants her to consider staying with Liella. And Wien's like, wait, why would I do that? That's not something I want to do. But Tamari's like, but I'm noticing that you're slowly falling in love with School Isles, and in fact, I have fallen in love with School Isles, and I myself want to continue that dream, the chase that my sister wanted. And I want to stay part of Liella, and I want you to be with me in Liella and become the voice at its core. So I guess the center, maybe the leader, the one who probably takes over Liella after Kanon leaves. So instead of her going to Vienna, she wants her to stay, and you're even going to see that she herself admits that she wants her to stay the most. And you can see from her face that, she has trouble admitting it, but I don't know, we got a little friend, maybe something a little bit more than that bond being built with these two girls. That's, I guess, what they're probably letting on. Anyways, back to Kano. She is in a big line trying to get into the school, and there she gets to meet with Mien's sister, who's talking about how this could be a great opportunity for her. And Kano's like, for sure, but she's also, in the back of her mind, says she wants to go home, but she tells herself, no, I'm here, this is going to be my future. But when she's sleeping in her bed, you can see that she's having some inner turmoil. Once we go back to the second years, they're trying to figure out what a good song will be that will be fit for the finale, and they're struggling to figure out what's a group that's perfect for 11. So they decide maybe if we go out for a run, that's going to help clear our minds and figure something out, but unfortunately that does not help them. But while they're laying there, they listen to something in the background. So they hear some voices going on, and since it's about winter time, you might often hear choirs as they're singing Christmas songs and such. And they're like, wait, that's what got Kanon into singing. They could potentially use this to help write the song. So when Kanon is in the airport coming back to Japan, she gets a text from Kineko saying that they finished the song and they are ready to put the song together. So then Kanon pulls her guitar, and I'm assuming she practices. They don't really show it. She strums once, and then we jump to the next scene. When she is back, we get to see that there is this little symbolism scene where it's raining, but in the distance you get to see her younger self shining in the light. But it's just a dream. But she's home, and she's ready to take on the finals. So she also then meets up with Kano, and she tells her that she has passed, and that the dance team that she's going to want to be part of is going to be in her future. We get to see Wien go meet up with the Onitsuka sisters, and mainly because Tomari asked her, she decides that she's going to tell them that she's going to stay in Liella in the future and help basically be the center and help grow through that way and not go back to Vienna. And she also doesn't want anyone else to know beyond Kanon, which she should let know. As for Mei and Shiki, they didn't say a whole lot. Basically, they said they want to win and present this as a present for the seniors. I thought there'd been more based on the way they set up. There isn't. And then we get to see the two student council presidents basically interact, where Kineko's like, I'm gonna start working on this and trying to make your load lighter for Ren, and Ren's like, you're so amazing. And that makes Kineko kind of blush a little bit. And then for Kuku and Sumina, they're trying to discuss their futures. Sumina's like, you don't have to worry about my future. I'm worried about your future, Kuku. What are you going to do? Are you going to go back to Shanghai? And then Kuku's like, that's secret. And then Sumina's like, what the heck? I want to know what my wife's doing in the future. But that's all they say. Anyways, so then we go jump into the actual dome. I think Tokyo Dome is where it's at. And we get to see there's the Love Live. You get to see a nice look at the stage and the audience, which apparently is just cards. We also get to see some members of the audience, like I believe that would be Kineko's mom, potentially, the maid with Ren, and her dog Chibi. We also get to see Kuku's family made it, her mom and dad, as well as her older sister Mung Mung, I believe that's what it was. So they made it all the way from Shanghai. And we even get to see Sunny Pog. Good thing the staff didn't forget about them, but I guess it's nice to see that they're here and they're cheering on the girls doing something that they couldn't do. So then we get a look at the backstage where the girls are all in their outfits and they do the very important count up, I guess, which is what you call it, from 1 through 11.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
So we get the whole count. It's like very iconic because they would do it in a bunch of other things. I still prefer like the 9 because it's the way it ends. 9 or Q. It's not as wordy as Ju-ichi, which is 11. But anyways, during this scene, we see Kanon has kind of like a thought in her mind where we see the scene from earlier where it's raining. And this kind of shows how before she was kind of crushed by the fear of singing, but now she's bright and cheery and she's ready to sing. So the girls are ready to sing the song for the finals. This song being called Superstar. So I guess that makes sense for the name of the episode, but also just a nice gesture to the name of the franchise. So without a further ado, let's go ahead and listen to the song Superstar for this finals.
風が吹いた きらめきさスーパースター一番嬉しい日だから星のような涙流そうよいつかあんな風になりたいって思ったら駆け出してるんだ
So that was the song Superstar, and there's definitely a few things I do want to talk about in this MV. The first thing, the way they started, I thought was pretty cool. They had a bunch of the silhouettes of the girls with their image colors. So, I think that's kind of a neat thing to do. The outfits themselves, I think, are pretty nice as well. They all have their image color is on there, and even on the gloves, which I think that's kind of a cool, almost color glow to it. But it's also got a little warm, wintry Christmas feel. I just kind of like the outfits. And all the girls were in bubbles of their colors as well. So, I don't know, just cool visual effects and just a nice stage overall. And you can see the stage from way in the city. That is pretty neat, honestly. But as for the song itself, there's a lot of great animation in it. It looks really nice from a bunch of the scenes, the way they transition. I don't think there's anything super crazy with it, but like there's a scene with the feather, which I think is great. As feather is often a very important imagery that's through all the Love Live series, and this one comes and flies in and breaks into all the colors of the girls. But this is just a song that I tend to like, actually. I really do like this a lot more than some of the other songs. I don't know how much I'm gonna like it in the end, but this is just a fun, nice, cheery song that I really enjoy a lot. So that concludes the performance. The girls all raise their hands in front of the audience, and they're all cheering for Liella. I don't know why the audience only has Liella cards, but anyways, surprise, surprise, they win, and they are back-to-back champions. Who could have saw that coming? But here's the 2 trophies that they have, I guess, for proof. And they put the poster on the wall saying they're back-to-back champions, but of course, there is another piece of paper next to that. It's the graduation ceremony information. So it's going to be on March 4th, which this is going to be around Christmas time-ish for Christmas holidays, the episode we just had. So, and I imagine, I guess they're back from Christmas break, so it's just a few months in the future where they're going to have to tackle the graduation. So it looks like episode 12 is going to cover that, but we'll have to see what that's going to be about. As for the next episode preview for the last episode, this one's called Forever and Ever, Zuto Zuto. I'm sure you heard Zuto a lot before, but that's what it means. So this is the only scene we get to see. They're all together, and there's going to be graduation that's happening probably in this episode, but then what's going to happen for the movie? Who knows? But anyways, we got one more thing to show you. It's the Liella Uta. So this one's called Hito Hira Dake. So without further ado, let's get a preview of that one.
いつもよりも急ぎ足に制服のままで手をつないでこの街春が来れば新しい世界
So that Liella no Uta song was only by the third years, or the original first years, if you want to call it that way. And the song's a little slower. Of course, it's more of a kind of a hymn, I guess. They're trying to do winter Christmassy styled songs. And it starts out pretty slow and it takes a little while to build, but when this song it really starts to build up, I think the song gets kind of interesting. At least in the instrumentations. But basically by the time the song picks up, the Liella no Uta ends, so that's probably something I have to listen more in the full version of the song. But I think there's something there, and I'll have to listen to that song more when the full version comes out. But that was the episode. So that's episode 11, the penultimate episode. The next episode is going to be the finale of Love Live Superstar Season 3. I guess they could do Season 4, but my guess is not. Probably most a movie, because they tend not to do graduations of members and then shift off new members. So I don't think that's going to happen. So we're near the end of Love Live Superstar. But before we get to that point, what do you think about this episode? What do you think about the 2 songs? I personally like this song, and more so than some of the other songs we have. It's one of the strong ones in my opinion, but I don't know, maybe you guys have different opinions. And how do you feel about them talking about, and really a couple more of the futures for the girls, because we didn't really get that in some of the other ones. It's kind of like, yeah, I assume you're going to college basically. But we get to see a little bit more of the futures. We get to see, like, Kanon's probably going to Vienna, and we get to see Chisato, she's going to do dance school, and some are going to do college. One's probably trying to go into showbiz and all that jazz, and one going to Shanghai to study and such. So it's nice to be able to see that kind of stuff. And we're going to see the second years are finally really getting their own and becoming third years, and then, first years, they're just moving on to next year. How do you feel about Wien's decision, and do you feel like she's going to stick with that? She's going to stay with Liella, and would you think she's going to take over Kanon's role? At least, I guess that's where it's going. Are they going to try to recruit new members in the future? I don't know if we're ever going to see that future, but I guess, do you think that's what would happen, or are they just going to stick the way they are? And if there is a movie, what do you think they're going to cover? I'm curious to see what you guys think about that. All about that in the comments below. I'm curious to see what you think what's going to happen in the next episode. Of course, it's probably graduation, but I'm curious to see for what your predictions of that might be. And lastly, since we're probably not getting another song, maybe Liella Nuta in the next episode, but what do you think about all the songs so far in this season? What was your favorite, and where did this last one that we just had stack up? But of course, I'm curious to hear about your opinions on all the girls in the comments below, so click the link in the description below to rank the girls from 1 through 11. How do you feel about each of these girls? And of course, I'm also curious to see, how do you feel about Wien's sister? I know we didn't see that much, but I'm curious to see about that, and how do you feel about Cuckoo's sister as well? But anyways, let me know all about that in the comments below. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and hope to catch you guys in another video soon.